Get ready to get in the game. Stretch, strengthen, live, and thrive. You can be a winning athlete in the game of life. It's the Peel Appeal with author and corrective exercise specialist Matt Peel.
Hey, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. How are you? What's happening today in your world? And I always say that because literally it's the world that gets the chance to listen. And it's the world that I get to talk to. And it's the world that makes this actually a much better place. And it's even smaller now with things like technology and guests and having guests refer other guests to you, which is why today I am beyond excited and amazed and in full gratitude of this guest that I get to have on this afternoon as we record. So a little bit of backstory on us. On October 11th, I was able to go to Gravesend, UK, and conduct my first wellness workshop with some other amazing ladies. One is Suki Kaur, who was a guest on my show, and that's how the event even happened. And in that, I was able to meet another fantastic woman who is a coach for people with ADHD. She works with Espresso Coaching. Actually, I think she's a franchise owner of Espresso Coaching. And I got to hang around her with Gravesend and go to a Sikh temple and eat with her and see what that was like and listen to her amazing story. And so today, I am so honored to have the awesome, the wonderful, the beautiful Shama Akram on my show to talk with us today about ADHD. And not only how she can help, but how are some things that you can improve on if you have ADHD or someone that you know that has ADHD. So Shama, welcome.
Thank you. Oh my God, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I'm just chomping at the bit. Let's just get started.
That's awesome. So tell people before the show started, kind of a roundabout way that you got into coaching, working with ADHD, because you actually have a master's in forensic science. But obviously, that's not what's going on right now, is it?
No.
So how did that turn and twist take place? So now you're doing what you're doing.
It's going to be a very long story shortened into maybe a few sentences, Matt, because it's
Perfect.
Basically you've just mapped out my whole life there. I did go to university to study science, but that was just because for me, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in media, but I'm an Asian woman, born in the late 70s, and so grown up in a society where, it was very important for us to keep our culture. So back in those days, there wasn't that many Asian people in the media being broadcasters and things like that. So it wasn't really the done thing. I had only the choice of three things. Either I was going to be a doctor, an engineer, or an accountant. So I thought, okay, well, I'm not very good with maths. That's not going to happen. Engineer, that's not going to happen. Okay, so let's try sciences. Didn't like science very much because I just found it very cumbersome, and obviously now I know why. But I just found the whole thing. I found it interesting, but there was just too much to learn. So in the end, I decided to go down a branch that was a little bit easier because it doesn't deal with
Math.
health. It deals with the other one. It deals with the
Yes.
aftermath of what happens after somebody passes away. So it's a lot easier to deal with because there's only one way this is going to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
that's why I decided to go into that. But I really hated it. I hated every single moment of being a forensic scientist. I lasted 6 months.
Wow. That's not quite a record for employment, but
No,
at
4
least
years
you know
of
what?
studying.
You're right. 4 years of studying for 6 months of working in that
Yeah.
field. So,
My
because
mom
again,
never
math
forgave
is
me for
hard.
it.
Math is always hard. That's why I'm what I do in fitness, and I only have to count to 15 3 to 4 times. It's so simple. Like even a monkey can do it better than I can. So I'm so glad we're on the same page for this. So I heard you tell your story when we were doing the wellness workshop,
Yeah.
about your experience with ADHD, and then how going through some of that counseling was able to kind of open your eyes to
Yeah.
say, well, hey, you know what? After my experiences, I can help someone else. So talk to me a little bit about this. That's obviously a big self-acceptance of ADHD. And how does that help someone and how they help you and get into coaching?
Okay, so let me just backtrack a little bit. After my
Hmm.
mum passed away, I really struggled with having to deal with the void that she had left behind. And so I went to see a bereavement counselor. Um, I put it off for as long as I could because I was just like, oh, I'm all right. I've got the kids. But in the end, I wasn't all right. So I saw a bereavement counselor. The kind of the things that she showed me, the stuff that I learned from her, I just can't put a price on it. I can't put a price on it.
Okay.
And then when COVID hit, which was obviously a worldwide stop on everything, um,
Yes.
my first business was actually a business for entrepreneurs to help them with um, sort of virtual PA services, admin, sales support, that kind of thing. But then that
Mm,
went bust.
mm,
And I was just
okay.
like, okay, so now what? I've got to reinvent myself.
Right.
And I thought, you know what? You can give so much back when you're counseling people, but I didn't want to be a counselor because I'm an empath. And if I look back, if I'm going through people's trauma, I'm going to share that trauma with them. I'm going to take on their pain. I'm going to be crying. I'm going to be totally useless. So the only thing I could go for was life coaching because it makes the person want to move forward. That's the whole point of life coaching. It's not about looking back. There are essences of looking back because we have to look at some root of where it's all coming from. However,
Mm,
it's all about pushing that person forward every single step of the way. Now, how
got it.
I do it in terms of my coaching, because of the ADHD, which is funny enough, I found out I had ADHD 3 years ago, just purely because I coached someone with ADHD and I resonated so hard with that person, so hard with that person. I was just like, this does not make sense. Why is it that I totally understand where you're coming from? And why is it that everything that I'm saying to you, you understand where I'm coming from? And yet we were talking on so many different tangents. I don't actually think we ever got to the point, but that was the whole idea.
Right. Right.
And then I just thought, okay, I'm just going to go and get myself checked out. I do a running joke at the moment that, I did get diagnosed 3 years ago with ADHD. I was a bit disappointed that it wasn't psychopath being diagnosed
Oh,
being psychopathic, but turns out I'm just got ADHD. Boring.
next time. Next time you go
Next
through it,
time.
maybe it'll change and they'll go, let's push
Well,
her to
then
that
that's the thing as well
psychopathic
with
side.
ADHD, because I feel like such a chameleon sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of people resonate with that because we've got this innate ability to kind of pour ourselves into any circumstance. And sometimes I wondered whether I'm just taking on someone else's persona and pretending to have ADHD inadvertently. What do they call those kind of people? Chameleons? I don't know, but I think it's an ADHD thing.
Got it. Got it. So now that you've accepted, right, you're not a
Yeah,
psychopath, at least
nope,
today, but
shame.
maybe tomorrow it's different, then you've accepted it. So now you learn how to work with it, right?
Mm,
And that, because that's the acceptance of it. And then how can it not necessarily benefit your life? I'm trying to think what I'm saying, but be accepted into your life so that you can talk with people and then understand them and they can understand you back. So if we take that back a little bit more into our youth, right? And ADHD awareness in schools, because you hear a lot
yes.
about that. And then, so we just give some, kids drugs, just medicate them. Oh, they'll be fine. Let's
No.
just medicate them. But I agree with you. No,
Yeah.
there's got to be a better way to do it. So what could be a better way than just saying, here's some pills and let's just have you be numb?
Oh, I'm so glad you've asked that question, Matt, because this is something I feel very, very passionate about. Because all my life, and I'm sure a lot of people will resonate with that as well, when you feel that, something's not quite right, but you can't put your finger on it, I'm processing things differently. I see things differently. I'm feeling emotions that not many people feel. What is with that? And throughout my whole life, I just thought, you know what, I am eccentric. I'm just going to put myself down as somebody who's a bit eccentric, a little bit bonkers, a little bit crazy. So I used to associate myself with those kind of words. because it seemed like the most logical thing to do is to self-depreciate yourself before someone else does, right? That was one
Right.
of the things. Oh, you're so nuts, you're so crazy, you're so this, you're so chatty, you're so weird, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
used to hear this. I want children of today. I want to be that person for those children that I could have done with when I was growing up, basically. I could have done with a coach. And what I would like to do with these children, and I think the best age to work with people is probably from about 13 till about 20, that gap of
Okay.
adolescence going into
Lessons. Yeah.
young adults and
Yeah.
then young women and men and what have you. Um, that time is in the formative years. I'd like to offer them a structure. I'd like to offer them the accountability. I want them to hold their hands up and, almost as my mentor says, is to shine a light in the fear of consciousness, because that's what creates most of our procrastination. We fear the job. It might be too big. It might be too boring. Maybe we're going to do too much of a good job. We don't want people to give us more work on top of that. Maybe I'm not going to do a really good job of it, so I don't really want to do it because I'm going to look stupid. There's an amazing amount of excuses that an ADHD could come up with in any one time, but not be accountable for it and not shine a light on it and just have those voices in their heads telling them all the time they're not good enough because they can't do it. I want to stop that right here, right now. So if there are any children out there that are struggling a little bit, maybe they see things differently. Let me tell you now, this isn't about whether or not you're seeing things differently. Think about an iPhone and an Android. They both do the same thing. They both call, they both text, they're both smart.
Right.
What are the difference between the two? One has a different processing unit than the other one. That's the only difference. And that is the difference between a neurodivergent and a neurotypical. That's the only difference. We just process
I
things
love that.
differently.
I love that analogy, and I think that helps people resonate very well.
I hope
Um,
so.
you're right. The same thing. Was your phone does the same damn thing regardless.
Exactly.
Android, iPhone, whatever. A
Yeah,
little different processing, maybe some different interfaces. Apps work a little bit differently, but in the
maybe.
end, you're still gonna communicate. You're still gonna be able to call. You're
Exactly.
still gonna
And
be
there
able to
may be some
access your bank
things.
account, whatever it may be. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there might be some things that some people can do, some people can't. Just like there's some things that Google can do that iPhone can't, and vice versa. And that's okay. And it's that acceptance that I'm looking for in our generation. Well, not
Huge,
our generation, the next generation.
huge, huge,
So,
Shama. I love
yeah,
that.
I'm hoping so.
I,
I'm
I,
very
I
passionate
love
about it, so we will rant on about it a little bit. So just stop me when I need to.
that. So you mentioned procrastination,
Yeah,
and a lot of people procrastinate on a lot of things because we're just like, I just don't want to do that, whatever that may be, whether you're a fear of it, or you're just like, it just sucks. I just hate doing that.
yeah.
So talk about fear of that, and I guess related to ADHD and just overall fear of procrastination.
Yeah, I mean, when we coach and the framework that I've been taught by my mentor in terms of the way we coach people, it's very different from the way you get your normal coaching, in the sense that because we call every single day, right?
Hmm.
When okay, this is how I'm going to sort of talk about the fear side of things. Let me just get my hair's all getting tangled up behind my ears there. So this is such a brilliant topic. I need to get into this. Right. So as like when we call every single day, because that's what I do. I call my clients at the same time every single day, Monday to Friday, for about 5, 6 minutes. In that call, they're made to hold accountable for everything that they said that they would do the day before, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
this is the bit where it becomes really interesting, because yes, they can say, yeah, they've done it, or can, they might lie to me and say that they did it. Great. If they want to do that and that's how they feel they want to do that, that's up to them. But where I get the gold nuggets is the moments when they say to me, Shama, I just could not get that done for whatever reason. And we talk about why. So we talk about the why. Why did we not get that done? And that's not for my client to get onto a defensive stance and start coming up with a barrage of excuses. I genuinely want to know what happened. What were the
Yeah.
thought processes? You had an intention to do something, but it didn't happen. What were your thoughts? So the idea is to hopefully try and reframe that thought, maybe replace that thought, and maybe see things in a slightly different light, or even emotionally attaching yourself to that task. Why is it so important? Why is it on your list of things to do? And the idea, and I've probably sped through a lot of things that I normally do on my coaching anyway, but the idea is to pick out the priorities, timestamp those priorities. So if those priorities are at the forefront of your mind and you're on that traction to finish those priorities, if you are not doing that job, then you're on a distraction. So it's about creating, first of all, that awareness of the distraction. So why are you going down YouTube and going down rabbit holes? It means that you fear and you've decided that you are now going to distract yourself and go and do something else instead. So we address that fear. It could be a number of different things, but 9 out of 10 times it's either the job is too big, or it's boring, or it's, oh no, the third one is the most important one, the fear of perfectionism. They don't want to do it because they want it to be perfect, so they never finish it and they never start it, or they never start it. Does that make sense?
But very much. Very much.
Because I realize that my brain's going a little bit kind of, so
No,
if I start
that's all
not
right.
making
That's
sense,
all
then
right.
please just let me know.
That's all right. It makes a lot of sense of perfection. And hey, look, I've have been guilty too of perfectionism and not wanting to finish it, or even not wanting. I think more in what you was talking about, not wanting to start it, right? Because if I know it's not going to be perfect, it's not going to be to where I think it needs to be, even if I don't have the experience, the knowledge, or the talent to create the perfect widget, and it might end up to be rubbish in the end. I love saying rubbish to you, British. So
rubbish. I just got that.
I know. I said it all the time. I was in England with my friend John. That's rubbish. Yes, it's rubbish. I know. Prince, I get so excited saying that. Anyways, back to my ADHD. Get started. I think is a key thing, because it's not going to be. You already had it in your mind. Like it's not going to be satisfactory the way I want it. So let's procrastinate and not even start the shit, which is terrible, because then you don't get the experience. And of course, the growth is in the journey, in the process. But
exactly.
That's pretty awesome. So how, as we kind of go ahead, finish up.
I was about to say, one of the biggest excuses I always come across is people posting online, particularly if they're entrepreneurs and they have to have an online presence. They find it really difficult to post online because they're forever trying to get the perfect post.
Right.
And I'm like, but what
Guilty.
is the perfect post? Exactly.
Guilty.
What is the perfect post? How do you know when it is a perfect post if you haven't posted it yet?
You nailed it. We don't know.
Right.
We don't know. And then why does one get 600 views and one gets 6 views, and in your mind you're like, well, shit, the one with 6 views I thought I just nailed even better, and the one with the 600 views I thought was rubbish. So you like how I slid that back in. So how do you figure that? How do you figure that out? You don't know until you do it, and then you just got to roll with what happens. At the end of the day, you've got to see the results to be fine. You don't die, right? You're not dead yet.
Absolutely. And actually, unless you start getting the feedback about what is considered perfect, you're going to get that feedback. It's like, you do what you think is 80%. Yeah, you know what? This is 80% okay. Let me just get some feedback. So you post it, and your feedback would be either you're going to get a ton of likes or you're going to get no likes. But that shouldn't stop you from posting the next time. Maybe try something else. Maybe try something a bit different. Maybe try a different time of the day or a different part of the week. Who knows? Algorithms, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Algorithms is already a massive maze to try and navigate across. So at least just start posting, at least.
I love it. It. So as we wrap up a little bit, tell us, one, what is ADHD coaching, and then your coaching program that you have now that I'm going to ask if you're in England, but that you can have clients from anywhere in the world, correct?
Anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
Anywhere in
I
the
work
world.
online. I can work in person, online, on the phone, on the net, wherever you need me, I'm there. It's as
Got
simple
it.
as that.
Got it.
I'm more prevalent on Instagram and LinkedIn. I don't actually have a website per se, um, but all my information is probably more on my LinkedIn than anything else. So I'm available there, Shama Akram, on Instagram at Serenity Coaching. Um, are you going to put up any links for me, Matt?
Yeah, I'll put on there, but tell people, and I do follow Shama, so on she's Serenity Coaching on Instagram, and
I
in that
am.
is her website, and her website talks about her 30-day life transformation, and she's also doing another coaching program, and she posts regularly, has some great videos. Uh, so I follow her, and also on LinkedIn, I follow her there also. I've not seen her videos since okay, so your Facebook at Serenity Coaching. Now, is that a business page, like a page, or is that your personal profile?
I have
How
both.
do
I
you
have
have
a
it set
business
that up?
page. I have a
Okay,
business
so
page and personal profile. Yeah.
okay, so we'll go Serenity Coaching for your business page. That way
Yep.
you don't get 4 bazillion people hitting you up you don't know. Um, and then
That's
yeah,
another
so
story.
that's a that's a get in touch with her. But a little snippet here, like just what is ADHD coaching?
Okay, so I offer two types of coaching for me. The ADHD coaching is an espresso format, which is a franchised format, which I've taken on. I've been working in that particular format for the past 3 years, and it is that daily accountability calling that I'm talking about. Okay, so what we do is we have our first strategy call. We will talk through what issues you'd like to work on. We get really, really specific. And so, I'd even future trip you 90 days from now. If we got to 90 days, what is the one thing that you hoped that we would achieve? And that gives me an indication of what it is you want to work on. And then we start from there. So it could be anything business, personal, uh, maybe maybe you need to reinvent yourself. Maybe you want to start a business, whatever the goals might be. Maybe you want to go and work out and get that into you. So Matt, I'll be sending them to you. So anything, I'll send them to you if that's the case. I'll be like, Matt, I need some help. Um,
Perfect.
so how it works. So we do a call for 5 minutes every single day, Monday to Friday. And in that call, it's split into three parts. The first part is going to be, how did you get on? All the things that we talked about yesterday. How did you get on today? That allows us to compound on those wins on a day-to-day basis. So we're not just chipping away at your own self-esteem here. We're building it. We're building that self-esteem with the wins. And if you do come across things that are a little bit challenging, bring it to the call. I want that. They're the golden nuggets of information that tells me exactly what your brain is telling you to do. And so we can think about strategies to pivot and reframe that and carry on. And that happens month by month, day by day. And as you're compounding on your wins, it's just such a beautiful feeling to see those people get from doing absolutely nothing to having a structure, having core values, um, getting motivated with the things that they feel passionate about, looking after themselves with diet, healthcare, exercise, self love, getting passionate with the things that they love, looking at their energies. I mean, the list is endless. There's so many things that I could do. So that's the phone calling. That's me calling you every day on the phone. On the flip side, I have the transformation challenge, which is a very small but discreet service for those people that just want to have a quick fix on something that they want to work on. So maybe
Mm,
they want to kickstart a project, maybe they want to kickstart a 5 year plan, whatever that looks like for them.
love it.
We don't call, we send tasks to their phone. And every
Okay.
day, those 5 to 10 minute tasks that get sent to their phone promotes the well-being that they're trying to get to. So whether it's about being confident, being more productive, being more accountable, maybe they want to have a presentation they want to get ready for, and they've got a month to get themselves ready. I will devise it according to exactly what it is they want, and those tasks get sent. You get 4 phone calls a month from me, which helps us kind of just make sure and navigate that we're going down the right way and we're going on the right direction with their coaching, because you're in control of your coaching every single time. I'm not one of those people that like to lump guys into like 3 months, 6 months, and you have to take out a second mortgage every time you want to get coached.
Right.
I'm just not that person.
Got it.
Here I am. You can either I'm going to be your missing piece of the puzzle, or you cancel next month. It's as simple as that.
I dig it. Shama, thank you very, very much for coming on. Thank you for accepting Suki's invitation back earlier in October.
Otherwise we would have never have met.
Or else we would never have met. That's what makes this so awesome, right? It is about networking. It's about connections. It's about taking a chance and just saying, yeah, you know what? Hell, I'll go do that.
Hey, Matt, I'm always going to be up for anything you say. You just have to invite me and just say, hey, Shama, I'm doing this. You want to come? I'll be there.
Awesome. Love it. I love it. Well, Shama, thank you very much again for being on the program, and we'll have to do it again soon.
Most definitely. And if anybody wants a part 2, hit me up. Let me know. Send me a DM. Send me an email. Send me a message. Let me know what you need.
Awesome. So you can email her at sonicSyrene@gmail.com. That's SonicSyrene@gmail.com. And this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal Podcast. Hope you liked it. Subscribe, like, listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, I will talk to you later.
Are you ready to get in the game? Get personal help, sign up for our newsletter, and pick up your copy of Athlete in the Game of Life, the book, all at mattpeel.com. Thanks for listening.